Hey everybody, it's Chillmonger. Did you see that fight? Well, there's another angle now of Jonathan Majors breaking up this fight. How convenient that there's these girls that are fighting, and now we can picture him lifting and carrying that woman that he allegedly hurt and beat up. Now we can also add this to our imagination. I saw TMZ even talk to him, and it looked hella suspicious right here, where they pulled up on him right after the fight. I got the wrong video up. Here's the
Were they
video.
okay?
Here's the video here.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah. What can I tell? Can I ask what happened? They were just fighting and you just pulled them apart?
It's going to fight.
Yeah. Yeah. They're all good though. What's your message to the girls? Stay cool.
Jonathan Majors' message was to stay cool. Did you guys see that video, everybody? The PR stunt that we've confirmed without a shadow of a doubt because we're skeptical and we definitely are aware of these sketchy situations, right? And we can, let's keep that skeptical hat on, everybody, and let's watch this systemic injustice that is the Jonathan Majors assault case take place. This is that woman right over there. She claims he broke her right middle finger and cut her right ear. That's what it says in the bottom left. And this is evidence that was hidden in 2 terabytes of information. 2 terabytes of information, meaning that you had to really search to find this evidence. There was so much fluff in between to keep the Jonathan Majors side from reading this. But Major's lawyer filed this video from just 8 minutes after the alleged assault. Remember, this woman is claiming that hands were put on Jonathan Majors. Do we see that? Oh, I'm covering it. Let me get rid of me. Back to this video. I want to show you, this is a 4-minute video that is not getting the attention. Flavio Souza, I know you saw this video. Look. In it, Stephanie repeatedly uses her hand to tie back her hair without any apparent injury. That's what the words say, and her right ear shows no bleeding. That's what the words say. That's what the video shows. It's 8 minutes later. I just don't know how you could see this evidence, become a district attorney, and be like, hey, we're definitely convicting Jonathan Majors being guilty. What? Really? This video continues. She's getting consoled, and that's all good. These strangers, they just see a woman wailing. I don't have any animosity towards the one consoling her. Let's get that phone ready for you. So what Steph is complaining about right now is that they were inside the limo or the Cadillac Escalade, and her phone is there. Her bag is there. Obviously, because they had to leave the car from circumstances that are not pleasant. She's complaining and crying. If you want to hear it, you can't really hear it because everyone on the microphone gets picked up. They're saying, let's call you an Uber. So it feels like the more she wails and cries and the more she gets. Maybe that's been a tactic that's worked for her throughout her entire life. This woman would later text message and say, hey, suicide attempt over here. I'm going to kill myself. And Jonathan Majors dials 911 on her behalf about 11 hours after this moment here because of her attempted suicide. This woman here. That's this woman here. If we want to be skeptical about a video and watch videos, let's watch this video. Let's watch it, everybody. I'm about halfway into it.
No, hold on. I'm going to hail you a cab, and we're going to have anything to pay with it.
Woman says, I'm going to hail you a cab. She scrolls through a phone and holds her heavy coat with her right hand. That's what it looks like. That's the injured hand. This is Jonathan Majors walking by. Listen to everything if you can hear and make out what they say. And notice how he acts as if she's this abuser and he wants nothing to do with her. Actually, he's moving away from her as she comes closer. When she extends her hand, he pulls his away.
Yo, bro.
What does that show you, everybody? What does that show you? How is this video not circulating the way that the fight video is circulating? Does Jonathan Majors need PR, or does he need algorithms and people who make memes and jokes and systems? Does he need them to, I don't know, brighten up, smarten up? Let's read a couple of these people came in here. Zeroverse. Yeah, I'm so glad that he's innocent. He said things in interviews that really changed my perspective in life. And if he beat women, I would have been so let down. Yeah. And I can obviously can tell that you don't believe that stuff. Not to mention his role as Kang is so insane. I can't wait to see what he does in that role. You know, I'm actually different than you, Zeroverse. The Kang stuff doesn't mean anything to me. That character isn't a character. I'll put it this way. Him playing that character did not introduce a black franchise to the world, which is what's needed. And then swapping the skin of what a character used to be temporarily, here's this guy playing it, the character and all that. While he may elevate Kang, it's really not elevating or advancing anything long term wider. If you can just back up the scope and look at things, but he will be popular because of this. An Avengers movie with his name right next to it, that's major. And what we know is going to come from that is a lot of positivity. Let's look at the prototypes. Let's look at the guys who are. I think I just saw Denzel in a movie. What's he, 67 years old? This man has 4 decades worth. Jonathan does. Coming up. He's got 4 decades worth. And I don't want to besmirch this guy's name. I don't want to hurt this guy. I want to be part of the solution. I want to be part of the guy making content on this app and all these social media places that say Jonathan Majors is an innocent man. Yeah, does it look skeptical and fishy if we go to that TMZ article and we look at everything? There's not even like a name of the person writing that article, right? Like no one wants to put their name on. I understand. It does look like it's pretty staged to have Jonathan just walking, and here comes the TMZ asking questions. And here comes the TMZ asking questions, and he kind of stops, and he's at the car door. He's like, "Yeah, I'll just answer a couple more of your questions, and I'll stop." And yeah, of course, that looks fishy. That could be maximizing on a good thing, though. That could be actually he was just being a good guy and splitting them up. It could be. I really think it could be. I'm skeptical. I have my doubts. I absolutely don't believe with 100% certainty that Jonathan Majors didn't, make this a stunt. I know. I'm skeptical too. I'm also skeptical of the system. And I'm also not. I'm not saying with the full confidence that Jonathan Majors stages this. I'm not at all. I don't know. He could be a nice guy. Everything I've seen from the guy, he's been a nice guy. He definitely doesn't put his hand on women like her. I don't know. I don't think so. I got a new member named the Kingdom Child. Hello, man. Good to see you, the Kingdom Child. Thanks for being a member. It's only $1 Canadian if you want to support me in that way. And there's a good chance if you're a member, like Zang Beto, I'm gonna read your stuff. You guys come in priority. Trinity's in the building. Hey, chill. Ooh, Flavio, I know you've been following this. Internet nerds see conspiracies everywhere. The incident was not staged. Everything in Hollywood is staged, though, or at least it was magnified after. Oh, we know that you saved somebody and you saw a fight and you broke it up. Yo, let's use that to our advantage. Okay, bring a TMZ guy in here. TMZ guy's not going to ask you anything about your case. Don't worry. And you haven't had any moments like this for TMZ the entire time since March 25. But that TMZ will be right there. Let's not forget that TMZ and some of these other outlets, when Megan Good and he got together, they got these close-up shots, like the cameraman was standing in a position where you had to be accessed to get these shots of them coming off the jet and stuff and whatnot. I got my skeptical questions about it, but does that mean that Jonathan Majors put hands on this woman? No. To the contrary, if you think Jonathan Majors put hands on this woman, you're going against a doctor who we learned, evidence has come out. The doctor says, I assessed her. I saw the finger, the fracture. It is direct trauma related. That's what a doctor says. You guys want to fight? People fight doctors and stuff. Then I see her video of her being perfectly fine with her finger okay. And this is not the only video that we see of her. Let me minimize this. Let me get rid of your comment, actually. Let me minimize this and show you that there's some more footage. She's dancing right here. This is her. This is the rhythm of the night. The night. Hold on. It should be twirled. Dun, 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 dun. I know you want me to say it. That's what. That was the song that was playing. I have the audio version because Priya Chaudhary, the defense attorney, was like, I like this chillmonger guy. Let's provide him extra content. So thanks to Chaudhary, the whole team, and everyone in Manhattan. Majors is innocent. She looks fine to me. I know she looks fine to you, but you're not a person of colorless. You see this. You don't want to ascribe any sort of damaging long-term effects. You don't want to. You're not here trying to damage a man's brand. And then a people's progression, because this man really will be playing roles. He's 34 right now. He'll be playing roles of fathers and underrepresented heroes and protagonists. He's got the talent to do it. We understand that. In that new movie magazine Dreams, apparently he's going to be Oscar worthy because of his performance and whatnot. And if he wins this case before the Academy get to voting, he'll probably win that Oscar as like a big moment of, oh, we like the comeback story. We break them down, we build them back up. Everything's fabricated in Hollywood, and they like that stuff, right? And then there's going to be drama. Should he have won it? And then people who weren't up to speed on the case, they'll be talking about it just because he was arrested. And when the police arrest you, that's what happens. That's what happens. The police arrested you. Therefore, there is this stigma against you that you must have had to do something, because if not, then I would have to now question my belief system in the cops. And some people don't want to do that. New York Police Department are not the people you want to be hanging your hat on, or they're not the morality police. They're not the place that you get your information from. Hey, I have 22 people who just joined me in the first 10 minutes. Do this. Do the thumbs up thing. Appreciate you. Why would stage a fight when surveillance footage released on the same day does so much more for his image? We know Steph lied. We just don't know why. Jealousy, resentment, mental condition, all lead to the path of the dark side. I'd much rather be talking about Star Wars today, too. Behind the scene. Romantic partners can derail your life in a second. Choose wisely, everyone. Bro, I can't even put that on her, man. Like, I can't even put this on her. Yeah, sure. But she was in a mental state that was warped. It's those cops who came on the scene into his home and said, let us know. Just say that he strangled you. What happened? Asking, 19 times they were asked. And this woman was asked, and she said finally at the 20th time, yes, it was a choke. Yes, strangulation charge was placed that day. I can't blame this woman. She's really not the focus and the attention of my ire, not really that much, especially knowing like she was a suicidal person. Good thing she's not anymore. To my knowledge, she's still alive, living up in England. To my knowledge, she's totally fine. And I know I'm not contributing to anything. At least I'm not saying her name. I try not to say her name. Even before this, I just used to not say her name because, just out of respect for cases like this, you don't want to ever talk about the victim. Even though her name was out there and you could see photos tagged with her name right next to Jonathan, I never said her name. That's the way I started. And then she started becoming, oh, she's the abuser? Oh, wait. Jonathan Majors got some cops to go and arrest her. Like, there's probable cause to arrest her. And the DA deactivated the incident card, and she scurries off to another country, eh? So look, let's look at how many times she scurried off to another country. She buggered off. Oh, Pam, I should send you a link, actually, Pam, if you're here. Regardless if it was staged or not, it helped to change the narrative. Pam, where do I send you a link? Do you have a Twitter? I'm going to finish that thought about Pam Entertainment. So she is in America on March 25. She's in America. Then she leaves, takes all his stuff, jewelry, robs this man. At least that's what Jonathan's complaining about. That's what he told to the police officers. Okay, you understand? Pam, you have to follow me on Twitter so I can send you the link if you're trying to join. That she leaves the country, goes away, gone. She's back in the country and gets his phone back and everything. She's also in the country on May 9th because she shows up in person. I believe I read that the DA, or the people, the government, paid for that plane ticket to return her back to the country so she can be there in person on May 9th and say, hey, he put his hands on me. Hey, he did. He's nothing but a pimp. Yes, right. He's a thug. If it wasn't for those strangers who took me in, I wouldn't. Yeah, that woman, she left, came back. So she's got no problem with going there, coming back, going there, come back. Now here comes the court date. I think it was June 20. Damn, what was the date? June 12th or June 13th? What was the date? She's back. I believe she's back in America. I believe. And if I'm wrong about that, I'm wrong about that. And that was the same day when she's back in America, the day they went to court and everything. That's when Jonathan Majors goes to the police precinct in Chinatown where they were driving, and in the Chelsea neighborhood where he lives. Went to both precincts on that day, the very next day after a court date. I think he knew she was in the country, and I believe because they were in court. I'm gonna have to look that up. Not live right now, but I'm gonna have to look that up. She leaves the country again. Comes, goes, and she hasn't been back for a court date since. Should she return? The police are gonna say, look, we're arresting this woman. We are not gonna know. We're not gonna back down. We are detectives. We have a lot on our plate. We have credibility. These detectives are saying, no, we have more than probable cause to arrest this woman. We will arrest this woman. Stop trying to deactivate the iCard. There's no getting out of this. And that woman, Stephanie, hasn't returned. I'm curious, Zero versus beating men somehow. Better? Why? What did he say? About, I'm so glad he's innocent. If he beat women, I would have been so let down. Oh, so if he beat men, you would have been so let down. I think I know what you mean. It is what it is, bro. It is what it is. Sang Beto says, why would stage a fight when I'm here? What's going on, Parker? Regardless of I'm here now. If he made folks see him in a different light, no, not the menacing abuser. You're welcome, brother. Thanks for being a member. How much longer will this case be drawn out? As long as possible. The point isn't to win a court case or anything like that. The point is to tarnish a man. It's deliberate. It's very vengeful. We've already had this where the defense motion, hey, can you get rid of this case? And then they have to hear back from the prosecution. We've already played this. And the prosecution have decided last time, no, we're going to go on with the trial. So what's going to happen here with this motion? Same thing. They're going to go on with the trial, I think. Neri Bruce says, yeah, stigma, a lot of people bootlick. Charges got to be dropped soon. You would hope so. You have a right to a speedy trial. Yeah. What if they just go with the trial, even without her, even without Stephanie? And I'm just worried a little bit about who that jury that they select will be. A jury of your peers. Well, some of our peers are people like this. Some here, like this person here. Some of our peers that we're going to be there to judge are going to be like my boy here in the white hat. Let me at him. Let me at him. And she stopped getting what she wanted. You just see her start walking away. She thought she could get this guy to, I don't know, defend her or something. And she's putting on her front and she's watching. No, it's not working. I'll go somewhere else to get what I want. And apparently for the next 5 minutes along this whole entire street, Jonathan Majors and he and she, all of them, are viewed. He doesn't put hands on her once. And we'll see more of that. Knowing to still see people talking about that high school fight, shaking my head. No witness, no case on her. If she's not here, I don't know how they pursue. Oh, they'll try. Sanadek. That TMZ video reeks of gonzo journalism. Speaking of journalism, guy, Laura Italiano has been on fire with the journalism. I resent the tagline they used for that fight video. They posted 3 times over 24 hours. I wonder if the DA will dismiss or take his chance at the trial. Bro, who knows what they do. I've seen comments of people accusing him of fake fighting the bruises, even though the bruises on the... If you look at the evidence, and we pay attention to evidence here on Chillmonger, we can see, and I'll share the screen, that the pictures, they've all got like timestamps on them. Pictures are somewhere down here. They've all got like timestamps on them, like he couldn't have taken this at any other time. He wasn't preparing for a case. He was big screen it. It's not big screening. Pretend it was big screen, but you can see highlighted in yellow that they've got, I thought I had it, that they've got it all under control. At 2:02 a.m. it says, if you can't tell. You're fighting a lot of evidence, actually, to pretend that even this is some 50-50 case, or to characterize this as Jonathan's side is winning. No one's winning. No, he's innocent. Game. He's innocent. He was innocent when it got started. When an allegation is made, he's innocent. I don't care. It does not need to go to court. There is no evidence that can unprove what we know. At no point in time will we learn that this woman has a twin sister. Okay? Identical. And that's who you see uninjured. There's no suicidal text messages that she sends and that he calls saying, hey, there's an attempted suicide. There is no evidence that, it's just autocorrect. You see the other white woman that's in the video. You see her right here. Look, this explains everything. I know how you guys can think, oh, she's a suicidal woman. No. When she got introduced to this woman here, that woman there, see, her name is Sue, and then she stepped aside, and the autocorrect is a suicide, and that's what that looks like, guys. Don't worry, the prosecution's got this. There's nothing that they can do. Like the doctor, that's not the cousin of Jonathan Majors, and he fabricated. There's nothing a prosecution can use. Oh, you think those cops were telling her you have to say that you were strangled? No, you dummy. Well, they had COVID, and they were checking to see, hey, paramedics, ask if she's got COVID too. That's what they were doing, everybody. There's nothing a prosecution can do to unprove the evidence that we've seen, which is concrete. There is no, oh, excellent, he is innocent. Oh yeah. What's going on, the widow, Ashley? Hey, how do we get on? How do we get on? You want to get on the show? Like you want to be on the channel? I don't know what you mean by that. I sent invitations to like YouTubers, but not to you. Like Pam Entertainment TV, I was talking about getting her on. I guess she left. Well, because I saw her, but if she wants to join, she can join because she's got her YouTube cover and she covers this topic, and you know what I mean. So that's what I meant when I said that. That wasn't an open invite to everybody. And by the way, Pam is following me, so I'm going to send her the DM of the invitation link. If she wants to pop in, she can pop in. If you guys have anything to say, let's talk about this. This is going to be a long one because I do want to talk a lot about this topic. The attention that's been given to the fight. It's so purposeful. It's so obvious who your enemies are in this online space. I'm talking about the shade room and the comedy hypes and the no jumpers and all these guys who publicize the wrong and the worst for their clicks. Why isn't the video of the woman being perfectly fine? Why isn't that circulating? Anzo, I see you. If this case is dismissed, can Majors still sue the DA office for defamation? That's probably why they're doing this and dragging it out themselves, right? Well, let's have a motion to throw away the case. Let's like that's probably why, because they want it to be very clear that the DA had ample time to just drop these charges after more evidence was added. Because the DA could have said, "Oh yeah, in that 2 terabyte, hey B Smith, in that 2 terabytes of information, the district's office, yeah, we had that in there and we didn't flag it either, like we're supposed to flag it because it's important. It's got Jonathan on screen. Oh yeah, we didn't even know it was there. That was just something we must have just went right over our heads. Now, when Jonathan Major's team gets to say, hey, pay attention, this is actually there. You guys sure you want to go with this because it's part of the evidence? You sure now? Now they can't pretend we didn't know or claim negligence. I don't even know lawyer stuff, but I know that. I don't even know lawyer stuff, but I know the truth. Kelly Galloway, Alvin Bragg, these people of colorless were taking advantage of the system. They were saying, we can delay, we can hope that he settles because he's a celebrity. We can do all these tricks, switching and admitting evidence really late, admitting 2 terabytes of evidence. So like the real good stuff that we're supposed to have, it's going to be harder to track. 2 terabytes of evidence, and that was some high definition, good quality with audio. So a lot of storage space, I would say. But there's a lot of video that Jonathan Major's team had to go and sit through, and hope they've got many interns and whatnot to watch the whole entire tape over, see what they could have missed out on. There's a lot of information there that they knew would hurt them. I just don't understand. I understand racism. I understand the systemic oppression. I shouldn't say I don't understand. I get it. It's the Alvin Bragg thing that puzzles me. It's the judge thing that puzzles me. And then it's back to what I'm mad at, the shade room and the people who take advantage of these divisive things and they add to the slanderous campaign of Jonathan Majors. If you're the shade room, wouldn't you want a brand new celebrity who's got a lot of I don't know, attention and popularity and elevation and looks the way he looks with a wide nose and big lips? And you should want that to become a familiar face that's likable and promote, you know what I mean? Like some guy who's going to be a star of some movies that are going to be positive. Now directors and people studios are going to want to work with Jonathan Majors because of his celebrities and his talent. We should want that. Why are you contributing to this negative slander? Why are we bringing this man down, making memes and focusing on that? And if you want to make memes and focus on that, how are you ignoring the truth? The true video that's out there right now of this woman being perfectly fine, uninjured, even though she's claimed to be injured. What's going on, Danny? Officer, appreciate you, cops like you who are doing their thing in beautiful South Carolina. Got no beef with Danny Graham over here. You know who I got beef with? The New York Police Department, or at least 6 of those men who went upstairs to Jonathan, and I can't wait to see that police body camera, which is going to show you some corrupt stuff. And shout out to the detectives in New York City again. And Danny, I was saying this earlier, there's some cops out there living in New York City who are abiding the rules, playing fair. Respect to them. I cackled at the driver, describing the abuser as a psycho girl. Oh, you talking about this specific place right here where he says psycho girl? Control F, psycho girl, right over here. The driver told prosecutors that Steph was the obvious aggressor in the altercation with Mr. Majors and went so far as to characterize Stephanie as psycho girl in speaking with prosecutors. Chaudhry says in her 23-page motion to dismiss the case. And we can click on this for the motion to dismiss the case. I'm just not a doctor. I'm not. Let me get rid of that. I'm just not really good at being a lawyer and figuring things out and whatnot. So probably not going to click on that. A black podcast I listened to didn't follow the case, and they said he did it. Lost the Patreon out of me. Maybe they're ignorant though. Their Nerdy Brew, I don't know, wise them up. Let them know without insulting them and calling them stupid traitors or whatnot. Let them know, like the insider article, the one that I have here. So put this in the comment section of that podcast, or tweet that to them. But this is the insider article that I'm reading, and it's got basically all the information. If you go back on Insider and you just click Laura Italiano's name, you can see the other times that she's talked about this, and the big one from like June 22nd or 21st, one of those. The Shade Room comment section has hated Mr. Majors ever since they found out he had a biracial child. Oh, is that right? Oh, I didn't know he had a biracial child. Not that I'm justifying. I just didn't know that. They have been waiting for his downfall ever since. I think he's got a kid in Georgia, right? You let me know, Zang Beto. Whatever it is, though. And then the Megan Good situation, which all convenient for sure. A lot of press. As Dre would remind me, he did lose his PR team, and there were people saying, hey, check it out. If his PR team dropped him, then obviously he did something wrong. A lot of people, I'm not going to insult anybody. I disagree. There's also people saying, yo, the prosecution still hasn't dropped the case. What do you think that they have? Why wouldn't they drop the case unless they had some solid evidence? And again, you cannot have evidence that disproves this, that she's perfectly fine and she goes to the club. Not only does she go to the club, she's going to the club and there's no signs of injury. Injured people don't go to the club. And then there's going to be video of her noticing herself with a broken finger later on. She sends text messages admitting, like at 6 a.m. You're going to see Control F, 6 a.m. Let's see here, 6 a.m. No, did they say 06 a.m.? No, let me just go the word text. Text from another woman? No, not that one. Shout out to Control F, bro, finding everything. 6 alcoholic drinks she had consumed that night. She immediately flew into a savage rage in the car after seeing texts on Jonathan Major's phone that believed to show him to be unfaithful. No, not that. She attempted to call him no less than 32 times, sent him imploring text messages, begging for him to call, then switched angry and jealous text messages about his infidelity. And then, when these tactics proved fruitless, she dropped the ultimate bomb and threatened suicide just before 8 a.m. That's what it was. She threatened suicide just before 8 a.m. At 8 a.m., Steph reached out to a friend in England. This is on text messages, everybody. Sending photos of her new injuries and confessing that she did not know how she hurt herself. The new filings reveals. Why is this going to court, everybody? I just want to read that again to show you how important this is. And then now that this is part of the evidence, is part of the defense motion, and her text messages have been revealed. I just want to let you guys know how innocent this man is, and he does not need no PR stunts. Actually, what he needs is the people who do memes and jokes and want to cover the story without mentioning it. Like, shout out to Variety, who are not mentioning this. Were sure to mention that, there's a restraining order that she's put against him. You know that, right? Like, remember how they were on the case? Be sure to stick with Variety for more. But there's a restraining order. Does it look like he's the one who? Does it look like she's the one who needs the restraining order? The psycho girl who the driver characterized as? The woman that when she comes up to Jonathan, you see him kind of pull away. That restraining order for that? Okay, Variety. The text messages say that at 8 a.m. At 8 a.m., I almost said her real name. Stephanie McMahon Helmsley reached out to a friend in England, sending photos of her new injuries and confessing that she did not know she hurt herself. She did not know how she hurt herself, the new filings reveal. Stephanie also admitted she'd been really scrappy with Majors during their earlier fights. The new evidence cited by Chaudhry reveals. And then at 9 a.m., Jonathan awoke to find his face stuck to the hotel pillow. That's just kept up. Don't mind that. I'm joined by Pam. Come in. Hello there, Pam.
Hello there. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's the first time officially talking to you, right?
It is. It is.
Are you New York based?
No, I'm not. I'm based in the South.
What's your expertise in like legal stuff?
Well, I worked as a social worker for probably about 20 years, and I did a lot of uh, testifying and things like that in court. So court procedures and stuff like that. Legalese, you need a lawyer to do that. But how to testify in court and understanding what you can and cannot say in the law, I know a little bit about that.
Is there anything that I said that before I even ask you any questions, like that you want to step in on? Like, how do you view this? What is the main takeaway? This whole PR stunt thing, the whole assault case itself. What do you think?
Well, I'd say this. As far as the PR people, I would tell you they are. If we take everything that's happened and said that it is a PR stunt, that for them to be as amateurish as they are, they have changed. You know, when this first came out, everybody and their grandmother was ready to crucify him. You know what I'm saying? He was this big, bad, mean, black, so and so and so, this abuser and everything. So for them to be as amateurish as they has, months, you get him. He's dating Megan Good. Then you have this stop the fight stunt. And how interesting when you go on Twitter, because I don't go to the shade room and stuff like that too often, but when you watch it on Twitter, he went from this mean, bad, such and such and such to now he's like, everyone's like, well, let me review this case again because something just doesn't seem to match up. Even though people are like, oh, I don't even believe that this happened. This is a stunt because there's no way that he could have been there at this time. Now everybody is like, okay, hold on. Let me go back because something just doesn't seem right. Because first he's supposed to have choked her. Now he's stopping fights between women. It doesn't match. It doesn't match now. And I think, like I said, for them to be as amateurish as they are as a PR thing, they've done an excellent job with changing the narrative and now making people, instead of being so emotional about what they hear or see, now everybody's starting to do a little critical thinking like, wait a minute, how did we get from him choking somebody out to now they keep postponing the case 6 and 7, 8 times and stuff like that? Because I remember when it first came out, people were talking about, oh well, he's doing Darvo and he's doing this and he's doing that, and the texts don't help him because that's the classic sign of this. But no one.
Yeah.
When you looked at those texts, when I looked at those texts, everything that came up behind that, I threw them out because that top line that says, I'm trying to get it right. There is no note. Only you will know. Honey, you're talking to a former chaos bringer. That let me know that top text, you see it. There is no note. Just what happened. That told me everything. That's a chaos bringer. And I recognize game recognizes game. That let me know right then. I don't need to worry about what's going on behind those texts. I need to know what's going on above those texts. That I already knew. Something's not right. For someone to write that, to have that in a text, that's a chaos bringer. I had to know what was going on.
Suicide note?
That's what that is. That was the first thing I picked up on.
Yeah.
That was the very first thing. Everything that came behind that, and everybody was making think pieces. Oh, he might this, that's Darvo, that's this, that's that. No, I want to know what happened above that text, because that's a chaos bringer right there.
See, I respect everyone for being skeptical and reading into these text messages, and I'll play them and I'll read them all in a second. I respect everyone for asking questions. That's what I do. I ask questions about these police officers. I'm skeptical about the judge who keeps on, like, after the arraignment, he was continuing on and furthering things. And I'm looking at Judge Rachel Pauly, Judge Michael Gaffey. They keep switching between the two judges, and I'm like, why? I have questions. I'm skeptical.
I think one is how some courts, like one is like a misdemeanor court, where they handle little different things, and then the other one's like a trial judge. I think Gaffey is a trial judge, and the other one is just to handle like the arraignments and stuff like that. Because you notice, I don't remember which article it was, when the prosecution went in, he kept reminding the prosecution, "You're on a time clock.
He was the one.
You're on a time clock. You're on a time clock." So I think that was probably the differences.
Claybon's in the building. He says the. That's exactly the THE. He says V. Smith Ford had Majors back from the start. She went against the entire podcast. Which podcast? I saw that when Joe Budden's go. Oh, Melissa Ford and Joe Budden.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the same video you saw. Shout out to Melissa Ford. That's Canadians do it best. It says Joe's female co-host was the only one to come to Major's defense. That's what you guys are talking about in here. Yeah. I understand, but she's been following it. They haven't. Respect to Joe Budden, no hatred or anything, but to the ones who are following the case, like, do better and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, someone with some expertise. Oh, I saw that. Oh, let me see here. Finally, someone. Crazy white girl who enjoys the nightlife. Hey, she's half Iranian, so I don't know. Can you call that white? I don't know. Watch your backs out there, fellas. She might eggplant on the first night, but just say no. Solid advice, sound advice. Damn, I didn't even notice that. Unapologetic simmer. Says, especially when she runs text like a jealous ex-girlfriend 30 times, run. The chaos bringer. Never heard that term before. Hey, you're in this.
That's just basically when you are I am a reformed chaos bringer. When you're young and you're out and you're doing so much stuff, and especially and that ties into mental health. Especially if you're someone that suffers from anxiety or anything like that. You bring chaos because you want everybody to comfort you. If you noticed her in that video, she walked up on these people and they were comforting her and all this other stuff. And like you said earlier,
it worked.
Didn't get her. Yeah, it works. That's a chaos bringer. Chaos makes her feel comfortable. And when it didn't work, she took her hands and put like this, like, oh no. And then she walked towards the next level of chaos, which was the fighting in the street and all that other stuff. So that has I call it chaos bringer, but it does have a mental health component on it. You will find, because men and women are different, you will find that some women thrive when people are confused around them, and baby them and stuff like that. That's not a bad thing, and I'm not trying to belittle anybody, but again, that's mental health. That's some mental health issues going on there.
Right. So I'm going to read these text messages. The piece by piece, we see, did you leave the keys? Goodbye, Stephanie. Then she goes, at 6 p.m. that day. So remember that all of that chaos and kerfuffle happened. I think 11 a.m. he was arrested when the cops came. Mm-hmm. And this is at 6 p.m. And this might be Saturday. You know what? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what day this was. I don't know. Sorry.
No, that was the same day because, he didn't get out to maybe like 6:45, 7 something that night.
So it was March 25th. I got a calendar here, and March 25 was Saturday. So it was a Friday night / everything happened on Saturday afternoon or morning afternoon. Okay. Let's read more of this. It says, please let me know you're okay when you get this. They assured me that you won't be charged. They said they had to arrest you as a protocol when they saw the injuries on me, and they knew we had a fight. I'm so angry that they did, and I'm sorry you're in this position. We'll make sure nothing happens about this. I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone. I only just got out of hospital. Just call me when you're out. You see these space bars in between the words that there's, not space bars, but the enter, the return, when you hit return and there's like a gap. Regular people don't text like that. Regular people text, and they're all separate bubbles. But when you copy and paste, it's as if someone said, yo, this will get him. If he answers these text messages, he will basically have confirmed that there was a fight, and that's all we need, right? So copy, paste these word for word. And she does. It looks to me that these are copy and pasted. These are traps. And then she hits them with the I love you, which is like separate. And then down here, we get a big text message in a big bubble. And this, I think, was authentic. I don't think that those ones that were separated by a return each time, I think that those were fake. And then here's like, oh, let me try again now at 9 p.m. a few hours later. They just called again to check on me. So first of all, you're calling back at 9 o'clock. Those are not business hours. I don't think that anyone called back to check on you. She says, and I reiterated how this was not an attack, and they do not have my blessing on any charges being placed. It's true. It was the DA pressing charges, not her. I read the paper they gave me about strangulation, and I said point blank, this did not occur. So they gave that. They gave that up. The strangulation stuff, they were like, we'll give you back strangulation. We're not going to use those. We just want to get the little misdemeanors that are not strangulation. So maybe he'll respond to this one as the tactic that these evil people who are in charge of Manhattan's district would operate in. Strangulation, and I said point blank, they did not occur and should be removed immediately. The judge is definitely going to be told this. She ensured this to me. I know you have the best team. Oh, but when she says she ensured this to me, Kelly Galloway, right?
It could have been the police officer that she was talking to, because I'm quite sure that they have an officer trained with domestic violence incidents.
So it'd be a female cop. Yeah, that's likely. The judge is definitely going to be told that she ensured this to me. I know you have the best team, and there's nothing to worry about. Just want you look at that. I know you have the best team. Who talks like that? Who speaks that way? Confirm that you have the best team. This will look good in front of the jury. Best team. I just want you to know that I'm doing all I can on my end. I also said to tell the judge to know that the origin of the call was to do with me collapsing and passing out and your being suicidal. And your worry as my partner due to our communication prior. Out of care. She promised all will be relayed. That was a trap. That was, hey, Jonathan, answer this. Answer. And to my knowledge, we don't see him answer or talk to her once, which has been advised probably by his attorney. Good job. Priya Chaudhry, I was iffy on this, releasing this text messages at the time. I'm still iffy about them playing this out in public opinion. I would prefer, and it's not my career, it's not my life. I would prefer them to be silent the whole entire time and then just hit the kapow with all the evidence on one big blast as soon as they drop the case, drop the charges. But he needed the public opinion. The public opinion is not helping you, Jonathan. Jonathan, everyone, the people of colorless have decided that they're not going to believe anything you do. If you even save a woman, 2 girls fighting in high school, they'll believe that it was staged. Mm-hmm. And again, I got my skeptics about it too. I don't want to ever say like I don't believe it was staged. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. But they are going hard and not giving you an inch. So stop trying to convince them. Even when the video of her going at the club, I remember watching TMZ, and you know how they got the whole community of TMZ's and reporters. They were like, I don't know. What we got to hear from the police officers instead, not Jonathan Majors. And I'm like, there's a video of her at the club. Why are we still acting like this is possible that he put hands on her when we see that? You actually sound really stupid after the club video comes out to think that she is a victim. Or you don't know. You're ignorant or stupid. It's either or. We got more comments here from the live chat. Blue, that's the King English version of texting. Is it? Blue, you know what to do. You have the link. If you can join, if maybe you're out. Unapologetic Simmer says, shame on her for doing this to him for revenge. Shame, shame, shame. Just break up and move on. I'm glad he ignored her ass. Majors is plenty innocent. I agree that neither he nor his team even need games when truth is better. Yeah. Do you think that this is a strategy that he's doing with his team where he's giving the DA, here's your guys' chance. Look, there's this evidence here. You didn't flag it. Maybe you guys didn't see the evidence, whatever. But now that we got the evidence here and the 2 terabytes, it's there. You still want to pursue this case? Because, you know, in a couple months after we beat this, in a couple months, you're about to all be going down for negligence and for targeting me and for deactivating the iCard and for trying your best to manipulate the justice system. So you guys, sure, look, here's this evidence. It's a video where she's on the street and she's 8 minutes after she's injured and she's perfectly fine. There's also video of her at the Lucy's nightclub. So 2 hours later, 8 minutes later, she's perfectly fine. There's actually those text messages. Maybe you guys didn't read the text. I don't know. But there's text messages she sent to her friend in London. You guys sure here. Motion to drop the case. They're doing this as a strategy to say we're fighting Alvin Bragg and his whole team. Yeah.
Listen. When they had the I guess what's interesting to me is the fact that when you look at what they put out in this last article, that the DA interviewed the driver, because I'm not sure if there's a video from them being inside the hired car or not, because I don't see anybody continue to talk about that particular video. They keep talking about what happened, because I break the incidents up as the initial ride, they get out, and then you get to the street fight, as I'm gonna call it, the street kerfuffle. They get out here. I think the prosecution was starting from that point, not this point over where they did the initial ride, because they have, anyway, the prosecution has this driver saying, listen, she started this. She went psycho in my thing to the point where I had to, we had to pull over, to the point that she was so upset. Now, I don't know about anybody else. I'm just going to speak on my behalf. If I'm upset, I can get upset. That's one thing. But I'm not leaving my phone and I'm not leaving my purse anywhere.
Not by choice.
I'm not going to leave that. You were so upset and it was so bad that you got out of a car. Now you're standing on the street begging people to assist you with getting back to you don't know where you are, to get back to your home. That's a level of out of control. That's a level to where a man has to literally run all the way down the street. And because I thought it was the funniest thing, and this is not a funny situation, but the way he walked by all of them, like he didn't even know her. If she did not turn around and follow him, it would have been like she was talking to a complete stranger. That was interesting to me, but I'm just going to go back. For them to disclose that they had talked to a friend over in London and she had made a statement that, I don't know how I got these injuries. For them to talk to a friend of hers who was at that Ben Tatum, whoever he was, where he's explaining to her, because you remember there was a point in time when there was a partial restraining order, then it turned into this full restraining order.
Yeah, I think it expired and they had to renew it, and they knew that would look good. Hey, Variety, talk about this. Hey, Rebecca Ruin, Tatiana Siegel, you guys report this. Thanks, Variety.
You talk to this guy during this period of time to where he's telling you she's been in the apartment since the incident.
March 25.
Yeah, since the incident. She was in there up until, because she skedaddled in May. So between March and all of April, she was there. He was someplace else.
She's traveling back and forth. He's busy having a good time.
Yeah. So she's been in that.
I hope you caught that joke. I did not say that joke for nothing. He was having a what time?
A good time. Good times. She's been back there. So she's not afraid to be back there. She's not afraid to be around that situation. And when you go back to those text messages in that last text, you already talked about being a chaos bringer, and you have to come down from that high. That's her coming down from that high, because now she's starting to realize, wait a minute, hold up. I've really messed up, because he's not answering, because she's probably used to him answering her text. Because when you look up at the top where she does that chaos bringing incident, he answers her real quickly. And then he hasn't answered her in probably almost a whole day. She was feeling at that point, I have really, really messed up. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
It's for real this time. Yeah. And then in comes the spite, in comes the vengefulness, making good of all people. Okay. This means war, and now she can't come back to America without being arrested by the New York Police Department. Shout out to New York. Wait, hey, maybe they'll fly her to like New Jersey, where there's no jurisdiction, and then she'll just drive over to New York. Either way, though, that day that you show up in court, that day you're gonna go in handcuffs, because police officers are there, and they're gonna have all the reason to, unless they give up, unless they, I don't know, do something corrupt where they don't have to arrest her anymore. Yeah, Megan, good time. Thank you, Nerdy Brew. Hey, listen to this video here that's shady. I kind of didn't mention this, but you're going to hear the teenagers talk like it's a Jimmy Fallon skit, and they're going to say like hashtag something. Just listen.
Hashtag first high school fighting experience.
Hashtag first high school fighting experience. See, that's what I mean when I say it's sketchy. So as Team Jonathan Majors, as I am right now, Team Innocent, the voiceover of hashtag first fight. I'm like, who talks that way? Are the youth talking that way? I'm not in LA. I don't know.
I don't know, but I guess because they're younger than World Star. You remember when everybody used to holler World Star, World Star, World Star? Maybe that's a new little thing back then. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Flavio, it seems there's no video in the car, but the driver saw everything and confirmed he's innocent. I don't know if we can say there seems to be no video in the car. We've never heard of a video in the car. We heard of him, of the witness, the driver. We also heard that there's video outside the car when Jonathan Majors is getting out, and she's pulling on his coat, which is ripped.
Yeah, because that should be the time period where he got away again, and he didn't he take pictures with people who were out.
Yeah, someone wanted a selfie, and that's on camera. And
Yeah, somebody wanted to take a picture with him. So that's why I was saying they were skipping. There was a lot of stuff that they were skipping. They were skipping over. I don't know.
Back to the skepticism of it during this entire thing, when they go to Jonathan Majors and they're talking to him and he's answering questions, he hasn't been doing media. This is totally a plant, which, TMZ people, you can give them the little heads up. Here's where I'll be. So ask me questions. I'm going to hop in my car. All right, bye now. He doesn't say goodbye now. He's sticking around. He's sticking around and he doesn't close the door. All right, got your answer. All right, thank you. Bye. He doesn't close the door. That's what I mean when I say it's sketchy. And I believe I'm skeptic. So to anyone who's like, "Yo, Chillmonger, what are you doing? You're not on code." I'm just not that gullible. I'm the person who asks questions. Like, he's not closing the door yet. Hurry up. All right, bye now. Bye. All right, cool. Like that was orchestrated. And then at the top of the article, usually there's like someone's name who's reporting on something, and I don't see the name. Like, no one's putting their name on it either. I was watching 3 Buck Theater, and they brought that up. So it's a lot. Like, let me go to any other article here. The Rock makes his epic return to. Oh, I'm wrong. There's no name up here either. There's no name on this article. Huh.
Did they put it maybe down at the bottom? Because some people sign, maybe it's down at the bottom. No.
The Rock is back. He is back, though. I did watch this. It was a cool segment he had on SmackDown where he just laid the beats down on Austin Theory. There he goes. Right there. He was in Colorado. He did a big interview with Pat McAfee the day prior. And do you care, Pam? You're not a wrestling. Yeah, okay.
Well, I know about wrestling. I know about The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin and all of them. That's the area that I remember. I don't know about the new people.
Nothing past 2003? Really? Okay,
No,
but so we know John Cena and Dave Bautista are movie stars, and we know them. If they weren't in the movies, you wouldn't know who they. So I'll name a wrestler it was his decade. Kurt Angle. Do you know that guy? Damn. How about the big star that they have now is named Roman Reigns. Do you know who that is? That's unfortunate. And The Rock put him in Fast and Furious.
Don't let that, just because I don't have the knowledge, don't let that stop you from saying what you have to say, because I'm still interested. Go ahead.
well, just that The Rock has returned and he's going to wrestle Roman Reigns. He was supposed to at the LA Stadium back in April, and they canceled those plans for whatever reason. And so now the next WrestleMania in a football stadium, is Philadelphia in April this year, in 2024. So 5 months from now, it looks like maybe 6 months. It looks like maybe he'll be on the card and he'll be wrestling his cousin, another Samoan. It's just unfortunate to me when you don't know the name of WWE's biggest star. After John left, it really a lot, very heavily, too much if you ask fans like me. It really shifted over to Roman Reigns as the guy. He held the title for 2 years now, which is a very long run to be a champion, and you don't know him. The casuals, like, at least you don't know him. You know who The Undertaker is, you don't know him.
I know who The Undertaker is.
Those kids were clowning Jonathan for stopping the fight. Yeah, there was a lot of memes and stuff. Even like Laura Italiano, who has been covering this case, she did a little bit of coverage over the in and out stuff. So here's the inside.
Okay, Roman Reigns, he's married to the black lady that's a wrestler? No, then I don't know.
Montez Ford and Bianca Belair?
Nope.
Those are that's the black couple.
Okay. I saw them on an interview
on Hot 97.
They were on a talk show.
Oh, they do talk shows too, eh? Okay.
Yeah, they were on a talk show.
That's Jey Uso and Naomi.
Okay.
Yeah, another cousin of The Rock who married a black girl. That's cool. Okay. Yeah, that's who that was. That was Trinity or Naomi, whichever one of her name. You know how wrestlers, they got two names, Rocky and Dwayne Johnson. You know why he calls himself The Rock? You have to know this. No, his dad was Soul Man Rocky Johnson, and that's where they got The Rock from, the Rock part of the name. Yeah, there's more to it, but that's where he got it from. Back to this case. Insider covers the exact the news. The people are looking at the wrong video, says his lawyer. Here,
which is true.
His lawyer says everyone's looking at the wrong video. Our girl Laura Italiano, the journalist in the building, she says Hector Majors is getting trolled mightily online for staging the video himself breaking up the fight. Here is the video from TMZ, and they're going to see some alternate angle here. And so this allegedly, this now proves it was real because, you know, there were more people standing there. So you guys can believe that it was a real fight. You know, if you're going to be skeptic, you're going to be skeptic. That's just the truth of the matter, right? Any thoughts? Does this change your mind?
The only thing I see that's consistent is his awkwardness. If you looked through him from when this started, even before, he has a level of awkwardness. That's the same thing I see. That's the consistent thing I see about him. He's an awkward type of guy.
He's an awkward guy.
You know, I mean, that's the consistent thing. You know, you juxtapose that for someone in a car supposedly strangling somebody, but that's the consistency that I see, that I can see. When I saw this video, I was just like, it is what it is, but that's not the right video y'all need to be looking at. That's not the right information that needs to be looked at. And
No.
it was interesting in Twitter when I went down the timeline, no one had that. It was 1,000 people talking about this fight, but not a single one looking at the other video that was more important.
It's a great reason why I began the video the way I began and why this is my thumbnail. He's so innocent. I'm talking about this, but for the majority of this video that I'll be doing right here, this live stream, I'm not talking about the fight that he's trying to break up. I hope people go in there, the same people who look for that, and find the truth, the Laura Italiano video that keeps being played on Inside. That video, that's the truth. That's everyone. The coverage, the information that we have that is out there. Let's remind you, she went to the club afterwards. The police formulated a story, and then the judges said, no, we're going to continue with this. The district attorney is pursuing him. There's a systemic issue that is happening, and this woman has suicidal text messages, and we're taking the word of that. And we're still continuing with it. And there's police who got detectives now who've got probable cause to arrest her. And the district attorney said, no, deactivate that. And the district attorney's submitting evidence really late. And then just also not flagging the correct evidence that they're supposed to be flagging pay attention to this. No, they're not doing that at all. They're shadiness.
And sending empty folders in the, you know, because everybody was so, oh, it's 2 terabytes of information, all this information. And then when they started looking at the information, they would list something in this folder to be one thing, and they open the folder up, it wouldn't. A file would be corrupted here, such and such and such would be corrupted there. Because I think in the video that I did, I pulled that embedded in Laura's thing was this, you can't see it, but it was this 23-page motion to dismiss. And
what are the highlights of that?
Woo, babes, that talked about the thing, but the most important thing on here that I have been talking about in my videos that I keep pulling up was the fact that that the New York District Attorney's Office has a timeline. They have 90 days they had 90 days from this incident to dispense of this incident, and it has, according to what they have in this 23 document. They have passed those 90 days. They're like in their 130th day. That's why this hearing in October is supposed to be so much, have so much weight in it, because Judge Gaffey is like, they presented this evidence to dismiss this case. The prosecution has to get their little stuff together. The defense has to answer it, and then he's going to rule on October. So I do not see this case going past this October date, because they are out of compliance.
You mean it gets dropped, or do you mean the trial will begin? Either or?
It has to either begin or it has to be dropped.
On October 6th?
The judge says that he's ruling on the 26th. So they have October 6th. The prosecution has to have an answer for this dismissal. And then the defense has to rebut whatever they put out. And he is going to look at the information and then make a ruling for it.
And he's not Judge Rachel S. Polly. He is another.
He is the trial judge. He's the trial judge, because that's where they put the information in.
He's the one that's going to save the tax dollars.
Yeah.
Bianca Belair and Montez Ford were on the Breakfast Club. When was this? Good to know. The two wrestlers.
Yeah, I saw him on a talk show.
Always seemed like a stand-up guy. Man, the little girl was getting beat bad. It was good. He stepped in. Teenager got her ass whooped and Kang saved her. No thanks as usual. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, how much times we say people with their phones are always recording and complaining about it, and now when it happens, we roast somebody for it. Are we really right for that?
I saw Dre's video about that.
Yeah,
And he
I'm
made
copying
mention-
him word for word. That's what he said.
Yeah,
That's
he
what I'm
made
getting from.
mention of that. That we went through a whole other incident a few weeks where everybody was talking about step in, and then he steps in, and then now we are like, no, that's not really what we wanted him to do.
You mean with the brick lady, right, in Houston? See, that's the thing, man. I mean, okay, we'll give attention to that for a second. Again, no jumper, comedy hype, the Shade Room. Who are these other publications who I'm forgetting to name?
The
But there's a lot.
Talk, the
Daily Loud.
Yeah, all of these people, all of those people.
So they monetize and they advertise this little local situation where the people who know her, who live in that neighborhood, who don't value her because they're familiar with her tactics and whatnot, no one cares. But they made this a national conversation of this brick lady thing, and you guys all fell for it. And we didn't question that. Like, we made a conversation about men versus women, black people, black men, black women,
gender
wars.
Then
we talked about, she is Somali, right? So is that really why does the entire black community need to have to answer for that situation? So people now are divided by nationality, which I'm like, the oppressor loves this.
Gender, listen, even when you went on TikTok, if people were doing lives on TikTok for the past couple of weeks, those were the topics. I have to turn all that off. But then you see something like this, it's crickets. No one is saying anything. Oh, here are all the funny memes. Here are all the little different things.
That's what you got to do. You're supposed to be funny. So when I posted this, I made a funny joke with it, and I don't know, it got a lot of attention. Like, I got retweeted a lot. People laugh at the way I said people of colorless. The reason why I said that, the first time I ever said people of colorless might have been like 3-4 months here on a live stream, and I was talking about how someone wrote in the live chat like something people of color, and I was like, that's such a marginalizing language to use, people of color, because there's no other people of blank. Like, we don't say another one. So, you kind of otherizes you. I don't like that word. Think about that. Because what was the alternative? People of colorless? That sounds stupid. That sounds awful. Like, I would never call somebody that. Now I'm like just using it for like characterizing anyone who's opposed advancement. Like, you're people of colorless. It's like it's like slurry kind of. I don't know. It doesn't have a stigma. Obviously, it was just something I started saying, and maybe someone's been saying it before. I'm not saying I invented this terminology or nothing. I'm just saying that's what I meant when I said people of colorless in my tweet, which got retweeted, and people love that joke. Anzo's in the building, and I'm talking too much. Hello, Anzo.
What's going on? What's up?
I think I want to get your take first on the TMZ stuff, staged or real.
Oh, man, when I seen that, I'm like, of course they're gonna say it's staged because they want to try and make it like he's still guilty of doing what he did.
What do you say?
No, it's not staged.
All right, you don't think it's staged? Do you think he's just a good guy and he breaks up fights, and even though he's got this case? Even though things about him are violence against women, and there's obviously a violent situation having women, you think he'd be smart and be like, I'm going to sit this one out? No, he doesn't do that. He jumps in. He can handle himself and whatnot. He doesn't care. And he sees all the video. He still all the cameras out there. So he knows he's going to get publicity for this. So maybe that may have influenced his decision. So I'm not trying to give him every point for being noble and whatnot. Maybe he knew that this would make the rounds, of course, because he's a celebrity. Let me keep that hat on because it's kind of my signature. And he goes and breaks the fight. I don't know. There's a lot of questions to be asked about it. Either way, I'm not going to participate in the slandering of Jonathan Majors. I'm just going to be skeptical and ask questions.
I believe 100%. Like, okay, it could have been, but I also believe I believe it's not. But I believe he may have seen an opportunity to get in there and be like, "Hey, look," you know what I mean? Because the cameras just happen to be there watching these two girls fight like that, and then he comes in. You know what I mean? So I think, yeah, they probably were two girls fighting, and he seen an opportunity and said, I can use this, So that's what I think.
There's a tweet from one of the people who were there, and you're supposed to believe the tweet. It's somewhere down here where the person says, oh, it's not even, I don't have it ready. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I was prepared. Never mind that. We'll get back on stream and back on topic here. So with the situation, Anzo, I want to know, how has the conversation bothered you? I'm looking at the outlets like Daily Loud, and I'm saying, why are they not doing their job of saving this man's career? And why are they being tools that the media like Variety and some of those other like more established establishments, why aren't they smartening up?
Because
And who's behind? Or are they getting so big that someone's now owns these platforms, which we thought were just regular people doing their thing, like discussing film, which is right?
Yes, 100%. I believe that there's a narrative that they still want to portray, that, he's kind of a woman beater, whatever, he's aggressive. And I think that some of these outlets are paid by the big people that actually want to tarnish his name, right? So that's why they put out this garbage. I seen the one article where they said that he's going for dismiss. I'm like, they better dismiss this case. After all the evidence that we've seen, they better dismiss this case. If this case goes to trial, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be upset.
Why?
Because
we want it to go.
innocent,
I know, but we want it to go to trial, and we want the not guilty. That's what we need.
Nah, I want him to get out of it. I want him to just if they dismiss the charges, that is as good as not guilty for me, because they have no case to go on. The only way they dismiss it is if they have no case whatsoever to go on. And right now, from what I've seen, they have no case. None.
What's the big video? The police body cam footage is the big video. That's the one where we go, oh, no one can fight this. The police saying he choked you. That's it. That when that comes out, that needs to be the one that gets retweeted in most everyone who's watching right now, whether you're watching now the 23 people or in the future or on a playback. Everyone, when that video is made out, retweet the crap out of that. They won't. You do. Shout out to people, man. There's people like the Cosmic Wonder I've been watching who's kind of turned around on the case, and he's more, it's looking like Jonathan's innocent. And then there's Everything Always, who's more so Team Jonathan Majors, more so like, or Team Truth. And I do like that, even though things have not been always this positive and always this fair to Jonathan. But I have to just recognize that those are two independent people who are utilizing their platforms and the reach that they have. What do you think?
You know what I mean? Critical thinking as well, you know what I mean? To at least look at the information, because there's some people out there that are looking at this information and still saying he's guilty. And I'm like, what are you seeing? Like, what are you seeing that I'm
You know what grinds my gears though? Looking at this information and saying, oh, let's see now what the DA has to say about this. What's the DA gonna tell you? That the DA is gonna tell you she got a twin sister? Is the DA gonna tell you that she didn't do suicide? She was asking her friend Sue for a side of potatoes? Like, what are we gonna use from the DA that can unprove what we saw? There's a video of her and he's moving away. There's her at the club. The fact that she goes to the club, if that's all we had, imagine if we just had 3 pieces of evidence. You can pick the 3, right? It's the video that she goes to the club is one piece of evidence. Okay. Then there's the psycho girl, which is a quote from the driver. And then I don't know what else. Then there's also the fact that she
conversation she had with her friend in England is another piece of.
Just take those 3. We dismiss this case, and we can use the whole other 3 pieces of evidence that we've got, and also off that dismiss this case. It's a kangaroo court. It's unbelievable that it has gone this far, but it's not unbelievable when you think of systemic racism and you think of the New York City Police Department. You get a guy like Alvin Bragg in there, the locals who vote for their DAs, and you go, Emmett Till, all these Khalif Crowder or Browder, what's his name?
Browder.
And you think, well, when we got Alvin Bragg in there, we know one thing. We know that none of these kind of scenarios are going to continue, because we can rest assured Alvin Bragg, see the way he looks? Yeah, not him. We've got a perfectly good DA who's not going to, and then you get this anyways. It's unbelievable. It's such a letdown for a guy like that, who you would hope would know better, would step in, would tell his, and let's say it's the assistant DA pushing this, right? Tell your assistant DA, Kelly Galloway, stop this. This is not the way we treat respectable men who are going to further and do advancement in this global industry called Hollywood. Who's going to provide a lot of positive portrayals of people who my family can benefit from, as well as, like there's just a good that he's able to do. And you want to get one, you want to add a celebrity badge to your Pokemon badge cart. What does Ash Ketchum have? You guys don't know. You guys are old. I'll always be slow to jump to conclusions, especially when it seems too sensational. Wait and see. Right on Marlock. What did Marlock say? He said, I stay on social media long enough to realize I'm getting mad at nothing. Then I log off.
Log off. Log off.
Stay for the memes. Gonzo journalism is meant to ridicule, panic, etc. Individuals' facts are not centered. It means to stir, sensationalize public opinion on serious matters. Look at the most social media. It's depressing, enraging, or funny. All strong emotions with little room for clarity. They make money off stereotypes because it's charged with emotions, attention, views, and money. And why are we furthering stereotypes, bro? Why do we allow these stereotypes to further and fester and breathe and they get more popular? We shouldn't. We should know better. And some of you guys, the internet people who are not watching right now, some of these internet people are doing damage for the sake of laughs and they don't realize it when they could be using the same amount of time on positivity. Yo,
100%.
Anyone have many live chats about the case? Let's hear it. I'm about finished. I want to talk to a couple more people who I've sent an invitation to, but they're not showing up. Like Blue's House, you got the invite. If you're watching, check your DMs. But that's that, bro. I think that's the situation. When it comes to me in this Jonathan Majors case, the reason I'm so passionate about it is because of the good he's going to be doing for the next 4 decades. We know stories of Mel Gibson. Who else has been kind of tarnished? Chris Brown in the music space. They've done the things that they've done, though, and we know that this kind of things like this can derail your success. I don't need this guy getting that attention. And when I see the fight, the PR stunt, it's a PR stunt, it's fake, and I see that's the conversation happening the same day that a good video of him that actually makes him look like he's not no abuser comes out, and it's really true evidence. When that happens, then I'm like, ooh, it's more than the DA. It's more than just variety. It's literally the people we think are supposed to be kind of the on the ground type of fun people who are causing this. The social media influencer space are dropping the ball here big time. And
they're leaving it up to, because even when you go back to, I guess they're thinking that these publications, these historic publications, they're leaving it to them. And I'm looking at, because I don't think we touched on it any time, but that Rolling Stones publication thing was.
We touched on it. Me and Anzo have a video on that.
It was because when I first went through it, I was trying to figure out what information they were, what they had, and then when I sat down and said, okay, let me read it for the styling and all this other stuff. I'm sorry, but it read like a ninth grader wrote this. Somebody doesn't want to say anything because such and such and such and such. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. You talked to 40 people? 40 people.
And not one of them wanted to say a name? Really?
40 people. That doesn't make any sense. Makes no sense to me.
And you know who wrote that article? It was a person of color list. Look at Cheyenne Roundtree right over here. We got her images up. We got the straight hair in this picture, straight hair in that photo, and then there's this one, and there's this one with straight hair. Oh, you even got blonde. That's cool. We see her friends and stuff, and we see I guess that's her love partner, her interest that she's there with. Couple photos of straight hair again. She got straight hair here, and there comes a point where you're like, is this a self-hating? Is this a person outside of who doesn't understand stories like Emmett Till? Like, who the hell is this Cheyenne Roundtree individual? Like, what is your role, and why are you not, like, I don't know, awake with your little Rolling Stone articles?
Well, you see, it's funny because it's usually one of us that they get to write an article like this, because if it's not one of us, it's like racism and this and that, you know what I mean? But they get one of us to do it, and it's like, oh, look, there's a black person that thinks the same way we do, guys. Must be true.
Yeah, you notice that she was the person that wrote it, but when you look at the other person that's listed on there, that's her supervisor.
Yeah.
2 people wrote it. The supervisor, that other person's name, blocked me on Twitter. I wrote I wrote something underneath the tweet because it came out like at 10:30, right? And I go, that's sketchy. And
that was real sketchy because you know that was the day. What was the day? Because something came out. Was that the day when they did the club photos?
Yeah.
So the big day where we find out that she's the one who hurt him, and he went to the police. They have probable cause to arrest her. That day happens, and then it feels like they rushed their story out to get it a day later. And yeah, obviously, Jonathan Majors knew Rolling Stone was coming because Rolling Stone asked for them to comment, right? So they knew that Rolling Stone was coming, and Jonathan Majors' side dropped all the evidence that they did so that I could do what I did. I could say, hey, your Rolling Stone article doesn't unprove anything that Jonathan came out with yesterday. And a couple people replied to me, it's all a game. They knew this was coming. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably the original post person on her burner account, right? So the woman, what's her name, bro? And she blocks me, and I can't tweet underneath anything she says anymore. But I got a lot of likes underneath that. It was the most viewed reply under their tweet, and I did the job of which I'm asking everyone else to do, of countering the negativity with some positivity. At least on Twitter, I did it.
Well, this is just food for thought, because when I looked up the article and looked up, because was it Variety that started off with all of these people were supposed to be coming in and all these victims? Well, I looked all that other stuff up, and the thing that I found, which was interesting, that Deadline, Variety, and Rolling Stone are owned by the same media conglomerate.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. So I think that they probably had that story back on the back burner somewhere. And then when that came out and it was something positive, they were like, no, we need to counteract it with this, because it was real sketchy for something to come out at 10 o'clock at night like that.
They raced to get it out as soon as they possibly could. They edited it and said, okay, 10:30, let's do it on a Friday. It says Jonathan Majors' trial set next hearing for October. So Variety wrote an article on September 15th from Jordan Moreau. It's a different guy.
Mm-hmm.
But prior, it was Rebecca Ruin in August 3rd. And then it was Rebecca Ruin again. And then it was Zach Sharf, Anthony Mackie. And then there was Rebecca Ruin again. And you can see the difference in the reporting. So when I click on the Jordan Moreau one, which finally they're talking about it. They didn't talk about it on June 20th when we find out that she's the one who's going to be arrested, right? Or probable cause to arrest. Here's Variety. After multiple days, misdemeanor assault case has its next key hearing October 25 in New York. During Friday hearing, Judge Michael Gaffey decided on the October 25 date. There's nothing in here that talks about how she's supposed to be arrested. Majors, who appeared virtually Friday, faces misdemeanor charges of harassment. His former partner, Stephanie McMahon, accused him of assaulting her while they were traveling in a taxi. It wasn't a taxi, technically. Back to his Manhattan apartment, police responded to a 911 call that he dialed. Like, let's not include that Jonathan Majors called, and noted that Stephanie had minor injuries to her head and neck. Yeah, but the police noted that. You're right. That's what the police noted, but they're not going with a strangulation charge. You're right to say that the police say there's a head and neck injury, but you're like you're way off. You're either ignorant or you're purposefully saying it that way, because it's true. Yeah, when you word it that way. Majors was arrested, true, and later released that same day. He has denied the allegations. That's all you're going to say? He has denied the allegations. See what I mean? Like the one-sidedness of the story?
Yeah. I just thought about it too. And, when I referred to this 23-page document, because I know earlier on when we were talking about this, when it first came out, because everybody's like, yeah, they were fighting in the street and all this other stuff. And I was like, that seems odd. Nobody would have called the police. Well, we find out in this document that several bystanders did call the police, and several bystanders did witness statements to the police. So when they were fighting in the street, after we saw them leave the last, the video with her up under, and I was very amazed that there was sound to that video, but I'm sorry, I'm jumping.
Yeah.
Police were called, and police took statements from the bystanders that the prosecution did not put in that evidence. And that was one of the things that Priya Charji wrote in here, that was they have not presented that information to them. I also did not know that they did search warrants on his apartment and took things out and did not list the things that they took out of that apartment.
It's like the police, the 6 officers who went there were just on demon time. And then we think about the cops who took statements on the street, and the way that they're like, I guess there's an aggressive woman, an abuser, and we've got evidence of that. It's within the police database. So when I give credit to these detectives who are like, no, we're pursuing, they kind of have to. They kind of have to go against those 6 cops, because there's cops prior who didn't know. They didn't know. I bet if those cops prior who took statements from the people on the street. I bet if they knew that, a few hours later it would result in 6 corrupt people trying to orchestrate an arrest, they probably wouldn't have taken those statements. But that's the detectives for you. Are the police good people? Not anymore. I take back every positive thing I said. Rolling Stone has zero credibility. They have a history of this type of thing. Yes, Chill, she's Steven like in Django Unchained. Steven, is that the Sam Jackson character? Who? Cheyenne Roundtree is like Steven? Did you see that Willie D said about the Rolling Stone founder? At least out of touch, if not racist. No? There was an article on the owner or CEO from Rolling Stone being excluding black artists when highlighting iconic musicians. Oh, that's fine. That's just subjective. Whoever you're listening to, you're gonna favor Sting over, I don't know, Chingy.
So there's, it's I don't know. I guess the only thing that I'm hopeful for is that I do appreciate Lori Italiano for putting the information out there, because you notice that again, because you all stay in one realm, but I also stay in the little gossipy realm too. So I get the little gossipy information.
The toxic gossip train.
But there was a little she's done an amazing job with putting the information and giving the information out there. But there was what is that lady's name? When you go back to whoever wrote the articles for Variety, because there was one lady and there was another lady that was writing in there too.
Tatiana Siegel.
I don't know who it was, but I think she did a tweet or something talking about Lori Italiano and something that she said about Kamala Harris or something like that. But Lori Italiano apologized and backtracked for whatever that was. But she kind of put all that to say is she was trying to put that information out there to discredit this woman and the information that she was giving us. And so I found that to be interesting too, because like all these things are happening all around at the same time. And it's just like, that's where you start thinking, oh, there's some kind of conspiracy theory going on. But I don't know if that's some professional jealousy or not, but I did notice that there was something in that with that too. That's the gossipy train thing that came through.
And it's funny because, right, remember, Chill, there was this article with multiple victims. Where are they at? You know what I mean? Where are the multiple victims that they talked about at the beginning of this trial? They said, oh, yeah, we have multiple victims coming out. Well, where are they? I think Chill is frozen.
Oh, he is frozen.
Yeah, he froze. There he goes. But that's what I'm saying. So for me, it's like once stuff like that comes out where, the cops they strangled you and then they take it off. Once you find out that there's so much of that stuff that are being removed, how can you believe anything that's going on?
It's so hard, because how are you coming back from that? Because that again, like I earlier in this show, I was talking about those text messages and how everybody was focusing on the last 2 text messages when they should have been focusing on that top one that was up there. Nobody mentioned that. And then to hear that they had a strangling charge, and no one was questioning.
Hold on. Sorry, go ahead. Hold on. I gotta put you on speaker. Go ahead, Chill.
Okay, listen, everybody. Power outage. And it's not just my place, it's the whole entire neighborhood. And so, damn, this is hella inconvenient. I don't know when I'll be able to come back, but I'm looking at the oven clock, and when it starts like flashing 12 and it's back on time, that still hasn't happened yet. So I don't know how long this is gonna last, bro. I think it's the whole neighborhood, because I heard a little pop. So maybe one of I don't know, I'm not an electrician. But hey, update, that's what's happening right now.
You guys want to shout, if Pam, you want to shout out your channel, let the people know where they can.
Yeah, I'm at Pam Entertainment TV here on YouTube. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. I'd appreciate it. And I appreciate you, Chill, for highlighting my videos and things like that for more people to see it. But again, come by. I do reviews and I do little pop culture. This is part of my pop culture chat information. This is what my whole Jonathan Majors thing is. That's where you can find all of my videos on Jonathan Majors. And I'm gonna drop down and I'm gonna go ahead and go. And I really do appreciate y'all. And I hope you get your power back, Chill.
She hopes you get your power back, Chill.
Hey, remind everyone to hit the thumbs up, you know what I mean?
Yes, hit the thumbs up, guys. Bigger Ford Entertainment. You know where to find me. Usually chilling with Chill, but on my channel doing the OOC, or on KL Central doing our stuff with Danny and Chris. But other than that, we will be out, I guess, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Can I ask you now to end the stream the way I would and say, read T'Challa?
Absolutely not. Later.